The UK has a fascinating past in which times have moved on. Work was different, social life was different, and culture was different. So we start a new series from the BBC archive, and today it's Fred Dibnah and how he takes down chimney stacks brick by brick.
It's not so pleasant on a Monday morning, and it's cold and wind's blowing, and you look up, like, and you think, oh, good God, So this year it's been windy nearly every day. I don't think we've had above a month when the weather's been really decent. It's either been blowing a force 9 or raining or.
Well, oh God, your ear is coughing. Well, nothing's changed since 1979 because the weather has still been rubbish this summer, so nothing's changed. The BBC archive has loads of these videos that we're going to look through, and Fred Dibnah is a huge one all over YouTube. People have looked at him, and this is a different way of life. And what you're going to notice is this is clearly from up north. I assume sort of Yorkshire way, somewhere along there. And I'm from the south. And culture is completely different even now. So some things I won't be familiar with, but that is a north-south divide thing.
Snowing or freezing cold, so you suffer.
Like he's climbing up, no protection.
Some days might be bloody awful on the floor, and then you set off up the ladder and go through the fog, and it's like being in an aeroplane. You can see all the chimney stacks and towers and church steeples and hills outside of town sticking up through all this cloud and sun shining up above. Beautiful. Sort of. My camera's never worked right though when that's been about, And you can see when the rain's coming, half an hour before it comes, it's on its way. You can see, miles and miles. Summer's best when sun's shining, and everybody down below's all sweating away inside, and you were up there and a nice cool breeze blowing, beautiful. It's something strange. Once you've started, you get like addicted to it. You just live it, like day and night. Think about it, talk about it. Some days you don't want to go. Why the hell did I start this job,
It reminds me of, the images on the Empire State Building where the workers are sitting on a beam eating their lunch. It's sort of similar here. He's going up this ladder. There's no real safety back then, is there? There's no health and safety protocols that you have to keep. But I wouldn't be able to do this. I'm not good with heights. But it's almost like the culture then, you just get on and do it. You just do it because that's what you do. Whereas my generation, younger generation, there's a little bit more resistance to hard work. And even me, I'm not saying, I'm including myself here.
But once you've got cracking like it, I always feel that, when I'm really putting big pile of stagings up round top of a chimney, like when I've got it all up, it's a work of art, a masterpiece. This particular job, I've got the contract for £7,000 to knock it down a brick at once, right down to the bottom. When I first came to look, bitter cold morning, the wind howling down off the mountains, and I thought, ugh, how come they always send for me in the middle of winter? Anyway, I'd have told the powers that be, like, that I want £7,000, you see. And I didn't think I'd get the job, Anyway, it turned out that they honoured me with giving it me, which means that the other fellas wanted a hell of a lot more,
Oh, £7,000 back then was £33,000 now, which is a big amount. That is a kind of, well, that's more than a year's wages for some people. Now he is doing it on his own, I assume, um, but brick by brick. But surely it's not going to take him a year to do it. So he's earning a lot of money, I would like to think. Um, and maybe it's because working at heights because of the danger of it. But that's not bad. 7,000, not bad. How's he going to get onto there?
The reason for the price were I didn't really want the job. Like if it had have been a repair job, which on average takes a month, 5 weeks, it's not so bad. But when it comes into months and months, you see, it's a bit different. Furthermore, when there's only like one of you and such a gigantic pile of bricks, you've got to have a stout heart to take it on your own.
It's just crazy. Crazy the work that's going through this. He's saying he's on his own, £7,000 do it, but even then he says months and months, not years, months and months. So still pretty good. He just didn't want it. But you see how he got onto that scaffolding that he's got. Oh my God. You would not see that now. We're going to see this with these BBC Archive videos. You will not see that now. No chance.
The Briar here, there's like too many buildings, to drop the thing, or blow it up, as some people do. The chairman of Court Halls won't let it be blown up, so I've got to knock it down a brick at once.
There's too much danger around otherwise.
It don't do to think about how long it's going to take you, you've just got to keep bashing some off. Oh, I've been here too long already, about 3 months and done now, which in my eyes I'm quite disgusted, but the weather's been outrageous, and now we're in with a chance to get something done. Like, we've got everything working according to how it should do, like the chute at the bottom is working well, which you can have a lot of trouble with them if you don't get the plates quite right. They keep getting bunged up and you're forevermore waiting for the bloke at the bottom to clear out the bricks, and you've got to make sure he's out the way, because if you drop one down and it comes shooting out and hits him up back at neck, he's dead.
Oh, God.
On the top, like on your own, you get a bit lonely, nobody, only the birds about, and occasionally I have a friend who comes round to see me, and he has a shin up and we have a bit of a chat,
A shin up?
Yeah, it must do something, Well, I feel better when I'm doing it, I can come home at tea time and demolish a great lump of steak and a big plate of chips, and sort of if you're mucking about pointing round somebody's window frames, things like that, bloody fed up, I'm like... No exciting going on, nothing to battle with.
It sums up, I think, the British working class work ethic that there was back then. You just get on and do it. Like, it's not fun. It's not that enjoyable. Yeah, there's some moments, like he said, when the sun's shining and you're up there and it's hot down there and it's nice breeze up the top. There's those small moments, but like, this is Britain. It's wet, it's cold, it's cloudy, it's probably back then it was more smoggy or whatever the word would be, and it's just not a nice environment. But you're English, you just get on and do it. You don't have that these days. That's the thing, One, the world's moved on, so you don't necessarily get as much hard graft type jobs. But even then, now, I don't think people would want to do it.
Really, you're dicing with death with a rotten old top on the chimney, There's been a lot of men died fiddling with them things. I've never fell off a big chimney, You only fall off one of them once, like. One day, I fell off a pair of steps in a little girl's bedroom and landed on a drilling machine and knocked myself unconscious. And I don't remember much about it, but morning after, I couldn't get out of bed and I had to stay there for 3 weeks, all through falling off a pair of steps. And, you know, that's about the only injury I've ever done myself.
That is the English dry wit humour. You know, the fact he's saying, well, I've never fallen off one of these chimneys. To be fair, if I did, I'd be dead. Oh, he does have a little
Donald,
strap on
my labourer down there, he's like a very important man, you see. You've got to have a man who has got a reasonable amount in grey matter. Like here, this noise of these fans going, it's impossible to shout 200 feet. Like, there's no way you can converse with each other. It more or less runs by more or less habit. The thing is that, you know, he's got a good brain, which is really what you need, you see. You get some young lad, like his heart can be in right place, but if he sees a girl in the office, he wanders away and sort of when you need him, you know, you look down and he's gone.
Fantastic.
In the past, like, I've had lots of labourers, you know, some drank rather a lot, sort of led me astray in a way, you know. Donald, he's a staunch teetotaler, so in lots of ways he's a good ambassador for me, you see. He keeps me out of the pub.
Have a nice cup of brew.
Good, look at that. Something gone wrong with it, Donald. Oh, bricks are coming out at all right, aren't they? Cheese butties again.
Same old sandwiches, same old lunch.
Don't think we'll get a yard a day off.
No. Just about down for June holidays.
No, we'll be lucky enough. Get fed up and keep looking up there, you know.
See, my thing is with the what we'd call a spotter now. I think I imagine just being like that all day, every day. That's not easy. You're going to end up with a sore neck. You're going to end up with us. I said this is a different world. It's a different world to what we live in now. The humour they have as well is brilliant.
Well, more steeplejacks I know, people come and say, you're always drunk when he went up, like, you know, sort of. I wouldn't say that I've ever done it drunk, but if you were banging away with a big hammer all day, a few pints, you know, don't do you any harm, you know, it sort of kills the pain. There's no doubt about that, you know. Sort of, I've had characters work for me who, in the morning at 9 o'clock, like, they got the shakes and sort of hell of a job getting up, but after they'd had about 5 pints at dinner time, they were,
straight up.
You know, they were quite full of beans. In 20 years, I've only ever had 2 calamities. One where a load of brick fell on top of a blacksmith shop and completely demolished it. And I thought, this is the end of my steeplejacking career. I can laugh now, but I didn't then, you know. When I come down, I was shaking all over, you know, in the pub for a pint. But Mr. Courtall decided that what I'd wrecked weren't worth keeping anyway, so there were only a very small claim off the insurance people, you see. And then on another occasion, we put rather a big dinge in top of a brand new motor car that were parked up really with inside my piece of rope that I'd got round the bottom of the chimney, you see. It weren't really my fault, you see. I picked 2 bricks up and the wind took off a nice 3/4 of an inch thick bed of pretty stiff mortar, which went like an autogyro on the wind and, you know, right over there about 100 yards and bush straight on top of his new car, you see. So he wanted a new roof on his brand new Volvo. Now I have to have a third-party insurance policy for people like hotels. You know, if I kill one of their operatives, you know, I'm in dire trouble, you see. I mean, they'd commandeer my traction engine or something like that. Insurance men and me don't mix, you know. I mean, the thing is that I don't intend dying, you know. It's a bit like being a motor car racer or this fella who jumps over cliffs on his motorbike. I bet he's not got a life insurance policy, you know. If he has, it'll cost him a fortune.
That is spot on, right? Try getting insurance for being a steeplejack that does this. You will have to pay so much money because the risks are so high. It's madness. It's funny because one of my businesses is I'm a football coach. I teach children. For some reason, it's in the same category insurance as mountain climbing. And I'm thinking, how is it even remotely the same? But imagine being insured for this.
No, I don't really bother with that side of it, you know. I know one thing, I ain't going to die, you know. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to die in bed with my boots on.
Wow. Just crazy. Just absolutely crazy how different the world, like how different Britain was. And it's not just Britain because, you know, other countries were similar in the fact that they were driving ahead, they were pushing ahead, and it was very industrial, it was very manual. I want to know now, is he still alive? Fred Dibnah. He is still alive? Yeah, he's still. No, he's not. From Bolton. Died 2004. How did he die, though? That's the question. After suffering cancer he had cancer for 3 years, so might have been that funny coffee ad. Incredible. It's fascinating to look back at times gone by, because it was just so different. Here you look at it and wow, the health and safety there was next to none. What a dangerous job that could go seriously wrong, but they just got on and done it. Hopefully you enjoyed that little look back. For me, I know you get a lot of Americans, for example, that look at this because they're exploring what life was like in the UK. But for me, I'm 34, 1990. So times before, it's a different world for me as well. So looking back, it's absolutely fascinating listening to what people thought back then and what their beliefs were and how they're different. We're going to keep going with BBC Archive because we can all enjoy looking back at what life was like. But thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more. And I will catch you next time.